Good morning, everyone. Let me just post this in the Discord for everyone to get. Bear with me 1 second. Believe it's just going to be me today. I
Good
don't
morning, everyone.
think. Oh, let me mute that.
In Discord for
Not sure what that's
bear
going
with me
through.
1 second.
There we are. Not sure where Magic is. I think he just did a stream on the Investing Bros. Not sure where that came from. But it's going to just be me going over what's occurred since yesterday's stream and what we really can expect between now and tomorrow's stream. Eyes here. Okay, so I'll go first. Or you, welcome.
Oh, are we live?
We're live, mate. I wasn't waiting around.
Whoops. Welcome, guys. Have you already started? How much have you gotten into? You're muted, man.
I haven't started a thing. I've just posted it in the Discord.
Oh, well, welcome, guys. It is Wednesday. I'm running late because I was on Investing Bros. So if you haven't seen that, it's posted in the Discord. It's also on my Twitter. Check it out. Tim and T-Shroom are awesome. We go everything from traditional market to bond market to crypto. So it's definitely an informative segment. That said, we have some stuff to talk about. We've taken the high, have we not?
We did.
We did take the high. I'm going to let you go first on that because I have not been looking at that chart. I've been going through everything else. I know. Just go over the order flow for me, bro. I'm just asking this one time.
That's why I'm saying no. Honestly, the guys that have just seen me in the live trading session, I hated this bit of price action. And I'll show you why. It has been awful. Okay. Honestly, awful. Some of the worst price action to try and go through I've ever seen. Really no way to pick it apart either way. There's literally no signals to get into a short there. You just have nothing, to be fair. We'll go through it though. So I'm on the 5 minute here. And let me reload this chart. I've just downloaded the new EXO charts because they've just updated and offered a load of. They said in the Discord it's free, but only free for Solana, SHIB, and Doge. So it's free if you're a shit coin trader. Download the desktop version. You can trade them for free. All of us lot still got to pay though. But I re-downloaded it just to see the new features. Pretty cool, Magic. You can trade if you get a DX feed account. You can trade stocks and ETFs and that type of thing. I was quite impressed.
Really? They're dabbling in that. They're trying to come after ATS, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe they'll fix their merging profiles and really kind of start competing.
But I'm confused. I've not seen it where you can log into Bybit before in here. I wonder whether we can trade off here now. I'm going to be playing around with this later.
It says test mode for okay. That would be honestly, that'd be dope. You said, have you looked in their Discord? I assume you already have.
Yeah, but it's just a mess right now, mate. Everyone's confused. They've literally announced it in the last hour. So I was trying to read apart what everyone's saying, but everyone's like, it's not working, this, that, the other. You're just having loads of issues, whatever. Or people are confused. People are like, am I getting my money back if I've just paid? The answer is no, most likely. But anyway, let's get into the price actions, get into this. So we're looking for an SFP of the previous day high. But sorry, let me just go over what's occurred throughout the day before I get into that. So we're going through the price action of the day. You know, we had a short here while we were on stream. Came down. The bastard caught me out of the trade overnight, literally to the dollar. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was here. To the dollar, it stopped me out. I shouldn't have moved my stop loss down, but I was like, oh, do you know what? I'll just secure a bit more profit. Moved it down, it stopped me out. Then overnight, you came down, tested the golden pocket, I believe this was. Tested the golden pocket down here, which offered you another setup. If you were trading it, obviously for me, it's not possible. But the trade that I was really looking for, while I'm just turning Magic off because he's got some echo. The trade I was looking for, and I mentioned it in the group in the morning, was it had to be between 21,100 and 21,950. So, you had a box area down here. There was no valid setup. You didn't have anything that was super, easy to spot. It wasn't super clear. So you just kind of have an area and you have to wait for price action to get there in order to trade it. You did initially get an SFP. Again, I would say this was a difficult one to get into. Really, yes, he had an SFP, but going and looking at it from an order flow standpoint, it was super quick. There wasn't really anything to these. This is making it easy for everyone to read, so I'm going to leave that up for now. But there was no real reason for one to enter here. It was just going and tapping the liquidity and stopping a load of people out. There wasn't positions changing hands. There wasn't trap traders. From an order flow standpoint, not really a trade. However, you did have a better trade later on, which is one that I actually took. And it was, I'm going to have to go into the 50-minute because can't spot it on there. So if I zoom in here, there we are, and then pull another golden pocket to the high, you came back down, tested the golden pocket, you got a PVA, which we know is always a good sign when you're looking for a reversal. You get strong volume into the move, and then you start to bounce away. You're getting your PVA candle. You didn't get a green one, which is normally a reversal signal, but you get strong move into the level, immediate bounce. And from an order flow standpoint, if we look at it, you were getting your buying balances coming off the move. You're getting your buying balances in the move. So you had shorts coming in, then it was position selling, followed by buying taking place. So, you had your entry triggers here to jump into that trade. And then it kind of dawdled for a little bit, didn't really do anything. You can't really pick this one apart going into here. It just is what it is. Then it moved up. You had the PPI data come out. It's actually pretty bullish for us. It came out much more negative than forecast. I say much more. I think it was double what it was forecast negative wise. So it just kind of shows that inflation is starting to creep down somewhat, or it's one of the factors that they use to measure it anyway. But yeah, it was bullish news, and that broke at 5:30 my time, 7:30 for others, I believe. But yeah, it broke then, and you had this candle here. Now, throughout the day, I'd said in the group that the trade that I was looking for was a short from the quarter four high, not an SFP, a short from the quarter four high. Reason being, I just thought it was a solid level. And if you come back up to it, we've tested it so many times. If we come up and test it again and reject, it's a sign that, you've confirmed that you are rejecting here and now going down. But then this wick occurred, and it really put me off, to be honest with you. It put me off. Reason being is, well, when you have a fast move into the level that you're looking to take a trade from, it didn't actually tap the level, but when you get a fast move towards it and then reject and then creep back up, as we did here, you got fast move up, it actually closed down, then you creep back up. We were live trading this and watching this occur, and I said, look, I don't want to take a short here because of this candle here. It's just taking it from what could have been a tier 3 trade down to a tier 1. So it's taken the how good of a setup this down considerably. The fact you've had the move up, then coming back up and testing it again. So we didn't take that. And then we had this SFP, and the guys on the live trading session would have seen me go into a bit of a meltdown. It was good to watch, and I'm hoping that people learned something from it. But really, it was so hard. I'm going to have to change the timeframes in a minute to really pick it apart. But the move up looked good. We were watching it. I said, if it's going to break out, now is the time. You had buyers coming into the markets. Let me go to the 2 minutes. You had buyers coming in. Many people were buying into the move. It looked pretty good. It looked pretty good from an order flow standpoint to then get the break. And then as we broke the level, we had mediocre volume, mediocre. This is on the 2 million, but we had 11 million here, which, okay, for a 2 million candle is pretty good. But there was nothing there from an order flow standpoint to really signal to take the short. So if you're looking at it, you can see buying imbalances on here, open interest somewhat increasing, delta's pretty much stagnant, no real way to pick it apart. When you've got such a stagnant opening delta, it really doesn't show you which way it's going. It's just kind of flat. Doesn't tell you, okay, we've just stopped out a load of shorts. We've just added a load of longs into positions. There is nothing to really gauge from here. So it was a difficult one to really trade, and you weren't really getting any selling balances on the 5 minute. I will admit, I wasn't looking at these lower term timeframes. The only way you could have caught this SFP was, one, if you were just like, oh, I've had an SFP, I'm taking the short, and just risking it like that. Or if you were on a real crack time frames, I'm talking 2 minutes, 1 minute and below, and you were strictly looking for selling imbalances, because other than that, you had nothing to take this trade. And I was losing my mind a little bit because I thought it was going to break out. I didn't think we'd get an SFP. And two, if we look at it on the 5 minutes, there is simply nothing to pick it apart. The selling imbalances, weren't strong enough for me to really want to get in it. Yes, we're getting 150k here. Yes, we're getting 400k here. But if we go back and look at the previous day when we had that SFP, which was a good one, it was a really good one yesterday. If we go back up and look at this, look at the selling balances that you're getting here. 480k, 1.4 million, 470k. Yes, you're getting a few 140ks and whatever, but you're getting millions and millions and millions. Whereas on this one, we're getting hundreds of k, 100k. Whereas here we're getting million, 900, 800, 400, another 100. You're just beating it all over the field on what's acceptable for an S&P. Way more liquidations here as well. Volume way higher. It just really, for me, wasn't a good short setup to take. Now, I did mention while we were trading it, look, if we lose the quarter four high, you can hedge again, and stop loss goes above the high. But it is not a good trade, in my opinion. I just can't see a world where we don't take this high now. This is an unfinished high. It's it's not a good auction for me. It's an unfinished auction. From a TPO standpoint, if you merge all of these profiles together, which normally isn't a done thing, but if you merge them all together, apparently now we do have I'm on a low tick here. Something's changed here because I pulled it in the stream and we didn't have a selling tail here. But anyway, I just don't believe this is the high, personally. Now, where can we look from here? Well, it's an issue because it really is hard to pick this one apart from either side. You've got increases in open interest with some shorts entering, which to me, as we climbed back up, would signal we're going to stop them out. We've yet to do that. If you go on the lower time frame again, and go to the 2 minutes, you can see after this came down and bounced from the VWAP, you had buyers coming in somewhat. You've not really got extremes, but you've got buyers coming in here, and now we're coming to stop them out. It really could go either way. I expect a little bit of fuckery. Maybe we take maybe we take the lows and then come back up to the highs. That's really what I'd quite like. It's just been a weird one to trade. I'll be honest, I seriously am in debate as to where this will go. Now, I did give a trade in this session, which I'm hoping some took, and I know Danny was pretty spot on with his assumption. So we were looking at this gold pocket. We said we can take a trade from here. And then it was Danny that actually said, I imagine we go and close out this PVA. So shout out to Danny. We did it. I don't know whether you got in that trade. I took it from the gold pocket when we had these buyers come in, and then it did. I took the trade myself, but you had these buyers coming in, then you had this huge open interest decrease, and then you've got your selling balances, and you got your more selling balances as you move away. It's kind of your signal to get into the trade. Closed out the PVA, as Danny said, and now we start to reject. And where can you look? Well, you look for these lows. You look for where the people that have bought here will put their stop losses. If it isn't going to just hold at these lows at the daily point of control, you really have to just look for the next lows, in my opinion. You can look for the previous day val. I think all this down here is quite a good spot down at 21,100 with the weekly value area low. I think is probably a good bet for this trade that we're in now. But this is why when you're trading these types of things, it's best to not panic if you're not in the trade. We've had it twice now on day after day, 2 days in a row. If you miss the initial move, there is always a second move. And it's why it's when you're getting these highs and lows, never panic, never think, I'm going to miss the move if I don't take a trade. That's gambling straight up. If you're thinking you're going to miss the move because you're gambling, it's straight up gambling. You're not trading. You're thinking, I don't want to miss it. I'm going to take the trade. If you've not got a setup, you've not got a trade, and you shouldn't be doing that. Whereas if you're patient and you wait, I did say look for the golden pocket, and and Danny called the PVA close, and you've got it, and then now you're in a trade, which is it's already hit take profits, so you're in a good one, and it's why it's best to not panic in these situations. But yeah, right now you are looking for it to come lower. If it doesn't SFP these lows, you are looking down to the previous day open, down to this low, and ultimately down to the weekly value area low, in my opinion. Thank you. and that is my TP. So, and also the golden pocket from here. So could bounce here, but you'd have to, in my opinion, for it to bounce here, you have to start putting some of these candles underwater to get back above the day value area high, and then you're putting these shorts underwater here, and then you can look to the highs. But yeah, magic. It's been a bit of a confusing one. I was all over the gaff in my last stream, so
it's all good. I was trying to keep it simple yesterday in the group, so I'm going to kind of show you guys my simple chart, and we'll go from there. So I posted this last night in the group.
After I've just confused everyone.
No. Well, I mean, you've gone through the order flow. It's not confusing it. It's just one of those things where sometimes looking at the chart helps as well. And you know me, I like my trading view charts. It's what I do. This is something as simple. It's a tool that we use, the regression. I like to use it, and it's the developing week. So we're only looking at this price action. We don't care about anything else. And you really could take it back to here. But again, we're working off a time basis, not a structure. So this is getting things really, really well, though. In terms of your week, this has been pretty much all you needed. And this little zone right here was just a couple POCs from prior sessions, to be honest with you. These are just session POCs that I identified, and I said this will be support. And you can see it was support. Also happens to be the October high, exact October high. So if you go to the monthly chart, you can see what I'm talking about. Go to that monthly chart and get rid of all this junk that's on here. I know you guys don't need that. But you can see right here, there's November. This is October, right? 21,088. Go back to your chart, and there you go, 21,088. That's your exact low. So that's all I did. I found a horizontal. I found a couple volume, POCs, and I knew that was within our trend. The trend is current right here, and this was a good long. This was actually a decent long too, but this was a good long, and you've come up to the high. You've deviated it. You did go through the Asia high and then gave it back up. And now you're giving it back up again. So to me, I look at this as coming back down to this box. If you look at it from a volume perspective, just all the price action since we've broken up, since we still have not broken out, you can see you've deviated the range high. This is also the overall point of control of the range, just below the daily pivot or your daily average. So it stands to make sense that if you are getting a deviation here, and this is an SFP, the high, probably going to come back down to this box again, right? And then the question is, do we continue to make these higher lows? Because technically you have a higher low here, here, and they're just getting a little bit more aggressive. So this is either got to put that next higher low in down here at the low of the trend, or the trend finally breaks and you come to the value area low and you start taking some of these lows out and sweeping them, right? But I think if that happens and we start coming back to this level, I would just prefer to come down at that point. That's just my opinion, though. And that would make this a good trade. The only thing I don't like is that we never officially came up to like 21.8. That's like your last weekly highs right here, right? So if you were looking at this from a weekly standpoint, you've obviously got these right here. But if you were just to box off your weekly highs here, right, you can see that you just came up shy. So we didn't quite hit them. However, you've got this little SFP here on like a weekly time frame as well at 21,088. So you do need to see this being support. If you start closing below it, especially the week, you might get that pullback we've been talking about, right? So I would just be working off of this level personally as support for right now, just on like a breaker level, kind of like we did down here with 17,174 and 16,611. These are these levels here. So just looking at the chart. Sorry, I haven't done like any TA today. So this is all kind of just freehanding it. This is going to be the level I'd like to see continuation come from. And we've already backtested a support. So if this level is holding, it supports our trend. The trend is up. You start losing 21,088. I would start to suspect we're going to see some stop losses getting triggered, and maybe that washout where this looks like it was an ascending triangle that's breaking back down to the downside, which does happen. So that's kind of my short take on it on the low time frames. In terms of trading this, I'm glad that you were live trading it, not me, because yeah, that looks like it was a whipsaw there for what you were going through. But I mean, it's so hard for me to be like want to put on a position up here, because you know how I feel about breakout trading. It's just not normally the best unless it's like a really high time frame break. And one thing to note was
you feel like it's coming.
I think we go higher still.
Exactly.
I don't know.
This is what
I don't.
impressed
Yeah,
me.
I don't think that. Well, the only problem I have with it is this. This is the DXY, and I was just covering this on Investing Bros with Tim and T-Shroom. This was the box I was looking for, which gave me like the clout bounce right here, which I loved. I was like ready to call that I called the low again to like the penny, but it came down, it swept it, and we've talked about this at the previous episode yesterday when we were talking about the DXY. I said realistically you could take these lows and things are still okay as long as it's just a quick wick. However, if you start living below 102.21 and 101.76, like this little box gets flipped to resistance, that's going to be bad. It's going to be real bad. I think at that point you just nuke to 96, but that's good for risk on assets, and that's why we would go up. However, if this gets a little bounce here, the markets are going to pull back, and so that's being supported by this move right now. So yeah, I mean, if I was looking for longs, you could long this region. I would just be cautious, because the more you test the level, especially after how many times can you deviate the range highs before you break the point of control and then come down to the range low? We haven't been down here in a while, and there is a good amount of liquidity. So does that mean that that's what you should be trading for, in the sense like I should just open a short here hoping to get it? No, that ship has sailed. That's up here. And even then you've probably taken profits by now, because I imagine you've hit the anchored VWAP from the New York session. And I imagine you've also probably hit the point of control from the New York session, right? Let's take a look. Yeah, you've already hit the anchored VWAP. So that first take profit's already been had, and you've rotated to the val of your New York session. So this is actually support for now. But yeah, so the easy targets on this trade have already been had, right? And now we're looking to see, does the trend continue? Do we come back to the overall range point of control from, man, when did we get up here? Friday. So we've been up here Friday, Saturday, like 4 or 5 days now. That would be a big area to give up. It's borderline a week long of price action, giving up that area that's been very instrumental to hold on to. And then coming down would make me think that, yeah, 20,800 or 20,688.50, which is the level I like to work off of. It's just an old pivot. It's been really good support. This is also supports the idea that if we lose 21,088, you're living below the Q4, which was 20,904. Yeah, I'd be looking for the lows of the range again, and maybe we finally get that dip into those like weekly and bi-weekly pivots we've been talking about. Who knows? But yeah, like somewhere down here in like this like sub 20K area, just underneath it, that's how that move's going to get underway. So yeah, at what point do I long this, just because I'm like, all right, it's a breakout? The problem is the risk to reward on it's just not great, man. Like you got to think, like, am I going to long up here from 21.5 to 21.8? Probably not when the move started all the way down here, it's like, but to each their own. If you have a good stop loss, like you find an intraday setup, like maybe you got long right here, or maybe we have a similar situation with a good reaction and you get long, maybe it makes sense because the risk reward's good, but it's not something that I'm interested in doing outside of maybe a scalp. Like if you're thinking, oh, okay, we're going to bounce from here, come back to like the daily POC or something, like maybe that's where that is. That those types of trades can be had. It's just be careful, make sure you have a stop loss. That's all I have on that. The high time frames haven't changed, in terms of what we're looking at. You're at macro support for the DXY, so a little bit of caution is to be had. And then in terms of what you're looking at for the high time frames, until we officially really lose, I think 19.6 was the level I was giving. I'm really not overall, too bearish yet. This would be the level right here, this gold pocket at 19,781, 689. You have your caveman pivot at 19,632. And let me get rid of this real quick, and you guys can see a little bit better here. We'll get rid of the 1 and 0 on this because that's just not necessary either. It's a little cleaner for you. And you can see these are the levels we had from back here. So we had these levels in the last range. They were very, very important in the last range. Like if you just look at this on like a weekly basis, right? And you looked at 20,688.50, this line right here, you can see that anytime you came back to it, it was a big deal, right? Getting above it's a big deal. Couldn't break above it right here. You actually ended up getting rejected at those pivots. So this was the zone I was looking to get consolidation. And once this breaks, I'd like to see a sweep into this level. If that breaks though, you got to start looking down into this area anywhere from like 19,150. And I hate to say it, it's just such a big area to be looking at. You really got to be patient and trade the reaction. could be all the way down as low as like 17.5. And I think if it goes that low, though, you're probably making new lows into the yearly open potentially. So continuation, good above 19.6 in my opinion, bad below. I wouldn't want to see it come back here. I think that this would just be a lower high and then maybe down. And, you know, this technically hasn't started a new trend, but maybe it comes down here. And again, we've talked about this. Opinions are wrong all the time. Maybe it does do something like this and you get that nice inverse head and shoulders everybody wants. I know that there's somebody in the chat that's doing patterns and wedges. And so I think it's a lotto. This would be something you'd be familiar with. You'd be looking at like a inverse head and shoulders. So you want to see that higher low, put that higher low in so you can do what? Make a higher high, which would be, you know, getting us back into the top of the range between 22.8 and 23.3, but ultimately looking for, in my opinion, as high as 26,724, maybe even a little bit higher than that, just depends. But this is the big statistical target for me, the yearly pivot still. And I think that it's going to take time to get there. So I know there's going to be pullbacks, but if we're going to get immediate continuation to the range highs, you really want to hang on to the point of control of the range, right? You don't want to go back to the low of the range after you found acceptance. Then it's like, it looks like a deviation that hit all its targets and just went a little further than everybody thought, grabbed all the liquidity and then dumped. So for me, still looking at this saying, if we're holding 20K or 19.6, that little area that I'm looking at, you're basically above the TPO and the volume point of control. And you can push to these range highs up here between 22.8 and a little over 23,000, right? So that's the idea behind that, being immediate continuation zone. And when it comes to longs, I think this is the only real place I'm interested in maybe adding a position if I'm looking for anything other than an intraday trade. After that, you're basically coming down to the lows of the range. Again, what we talked about, like 18.5, 18.7 could potentially come all the way back to this breakout level. And then we get to play the game of bounce or take these lows, right? So it's all I've really got, you know, just running through it.
All I would say right now is we have had a ton of shorts and the key level that if we were to reclaim like 21,400, that's where we've got all the red PVAs up to. If you were to get back above there, I don't see it being SFP'd again. I see it as, you know, getting the move up. We're having a ton of shorts now, but this is not a place to enter a long. With a ton of shorts entering, it means it's a strong move down. So if anyone did take the golden pocket trade that we mentioned, you know, it's a solid setup and you might be onto a big winner here. But the way that you could trade it is now if we were to get above that 21,400, that's when you exit and you're still securing a bit of profit from, you know, that's where your stop loss is. But I do think if you were to get above that level now, these highs aren't really going to last again. But for now, the move looks good. That's all I've got.
Bueno. We've been live for 30 minutes, so that's a pretty good. I do want to check on the SPX real quick because I looked at the DXY. It's getting a little bit of action there, which is to be expected as Bitcoin's coming into the box. We'll see if it holds on to it or not. And then let's go to SPX just real quick. You can see I've put an alert here. Two boxes, and then I'm just looking at this in terms of a regression, right? Very, very simple. What do we not want to see? We don't want to see acceptance back in and then loss of support below us, which this is your 6-month average. So the average of price for the last 6 months coming into this year is 38.85. You can see after you back tested this zone, which is the point of control of multiple time frames. We've covered that numerous times. Covered it again today as well on Investing Bros. So that information is out there. So if you start breaking down below this, you know, this is again the 2-year, the 1 year, the 6 month, the quarterly. It's all there. You know, it all comes in right here at this level. Such a big pivotal area to hold on to, right? So you really want to see. You want to see this holding as support. You don't want to see acceptance back into this because then it looks like it's coming back to 38.85, maybe challenging these lows again all the way down into support, which would be right here at these lows at 3,700. And if that happens, that bigger pullback on Bitcoin can definitely take place. So, you know, keep that in mind when you are looking at these as positions. So, yep, there it goes straight below it. So what were we just talking about? If you have these lows that are in place, and you see that this has been support, now you're breaking below it. You're taking stop losses right here. And did we take this low? 29.54. The low is 9. We haven't taken that low, so you got about $9 to take that low. But yeah, taking out some of these stop losses, and there it goes. Trying to get below these.
I'd be expecting the previous day low and the value area low of the range, because they all come in pretty nicely, to be fair. So you could trade it as if you tap the value area low of the range, and then trade it as an SFP of the previous day low. They all come in around a similar area.
Yeah. 20,862.
And the valve's just a touch below it there.
Yep.
So I'm
Look at that.
looking to potentially trade this.
You love to call it on stream and just be like, it's gonna nuke below here.
Oh, it's gone straight below the low.
Yep.
Hit the val effectively. What's the order flow saying? He just looks like he's stopping a load of positions out, not seeing anything yet, but you have now reclaimed the low. Buying imbalance is coming in. Yeah. I'm not a fan of this new Exo charts update. I don't know what it's done with my stuff, but I'm
still on the web version. I just use the web, so I mean, in terms of OI coming off on the volume chart, it's actually not bad. But
now you're getting buyers coming in. I'd say it's a solid setup.
So the way I look at it is you can see how quick the move down is happening. Really high negative delta. You can see that we've got OI coming off a little bit of a what do you call this, Max? Positions changing hands when it's flat like this?
That is. I wouldn't say that.
I would say that, but it's just too fast. Yeah.
When the zero is too fast.
But you can see the buying imbalance he's talking about right here, guys. So I've got 1.7 mil, then another mil here, another mil here, basically. And so I would be curious where the VWAP is basically from there.
Very high up.
Is it that far away? Oh,
yeah, very
Where's
high
my
up.
daily range? Daily val, where are we at? Way up there. So day open and day val, previous day val, it's all kind of in this little range here. So that's going to be the area you get back above. It's at 21,088 level, right in that area again. So you're going to want to see that reclaimed. But yeah, good move off the lows. OI is increasing, got buying imbalances. So that was a good trade if you're ready to take it. Yeah, this will probably continue higher. Hopefully it might come back to this area, but I would imagine so. Get a good bounce here. Get all the late shorters or when that was trying to get in anyway. Yeah, look at that.
The open interest increase is huge.
Yeah,
but the delta really isn't going anywhere. The delta's flat, but it's climbing now. There you go.
Matt said the delta strat is in play. Yeah,
there you go.
Matt's got his own strategy that he kind of formulated. It's got a really high hit rate. So that's always a good sign when all those factors line up. Look at her go. The power of order flow, guys. Learn order flow. So this literally gave you the low. You didn't even have to look at the charts outside of this one thing. You could have been looking at this only almost. It's important to know where you're at on the chart, but this would have gave you a nice day trade. You know, in theory, you could have gotten in almost right here. These are pretty good buying imbalances right off the low. Even if you bought the high of this candle, you know, I don't know what the high of the candle is, but 20,000, like we'll call it 20,900. Yeah, that's still an over, 0.5% move in spot just on the way up from a somewhat late entry with your stop loss below the low here, which, that stop loss is also 0.5%. So it's a really nice one-to-one trade there, but I imagine you're going to get a little more out of it. So very, very good. Anything to add while we're chatting here at the end of the stream?
Oh, good.
Any questions from you guys before we go, or do you want to add something?
Were we supposed to be having a guy on today on an interview?
No, it's tomorrow.
Oh, okay. So the thing today was you going on Investing Bros.
Yeah, tomorrow's Thursday. We're having Kenneth on. I need to shoot him an email with some stuff because we're going to cover the financial sheets of some of these crypto companies that have the information available. So we're going to try to go through them and say, can we look at this like we would look at a stock and look at their balance sheet and their debt and see if it's a good investment or not? And that's something that Kenneth does really, really well. So excited to have him on tomorrow at 9 Central Time, 10 Eastern, the normal time. No other interviews for me outside of Debate Crypto at 2 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. Eastern, and things will be good. So
Yeah, the last stream was very good.
all right, let's see. Beauty, we got 34 people in here. Did we break our record today?
Nah, not yet. It's climbed up to 31 as the price actions come in.
He goes below 21K again. Yes, it is. It broke down from that 21,088 level, and down she goes. I don't have anything to add, really. I accidentally just clicked something on my desktop. There we go.
No, so
see
the way that I look at this now, the way that I look at this now is if you are looking to get into a trade, similar to the top, if you didn't catch the initial move that we mentioned, what you can do is you can wait for it to either come back and then jump into a long. But where you are right now, you're risking it because you're at the market structure lows. So this is why you should be TPing on said trade. But as similar to the top end, if you've missed this move, wait for it to give a pullback, and then you can get in there and take the trade if given. Similar to the highs, if you missed the SFP as we did, the gold pocket that came after was the easy trade to take. It was the obvious trade to take. And then, right now, best thing to do is sit and wait. Don't YOLO into a trade. The open interest is showing that tons of positions are entering on both sides, which can create whipsaw movements. So don't get caught in it. Wait for a setup, a valid setup. Don't think, oh, they've said it's going up, so it's going to go up. Wait for a setup to take place. What setups? Well, pull back to the gold pocket, SFPs, these type of things. Wait for something like that to take. You actually come down and tap the gold pocket down. So now what you're waiting for is a reaction from it. And I'm looking at it on the 1 minute chart. So you are tapping it.
Say, you're really into that.
Go to the 1 minute. You've got it there.
Yeah.
You have really just come and tapped it. So now what you have to do is go and find whatever your entry trigger should be. If you're using order flow, you've got imbalances. If you're using the volume chart, you've got your volume chart signals, maybe even Twins template will give a signal here. But you are getting wicks to the downside if you're just using trading view. I would say, but it's not a bad trade to take from here. Reason being is you've not got far, your stop loss isn't very far away. So there's not too much panic.
Same spot you would have entered right here on the initial entry. I mean, in reality, if you were patient, you could almost get the exact same entry again.
There you go. So, and I would be taking profits at the daily open, and if claimed, then you take profits at the VWAP. If you get above the VWAP, I would personally just sit in that trade and see where it goes from there, because you've had a lot of shorts entering this decline that when put underwater will get stressed and close out, and it should shoot you up higher. So patience is a virtue, and hopefully
we've bounced on the Q4 2022 pivot. Let's take a look. Oh, Jen's gonna make me look at it. It's trying to. These levels have been really good. They'll be really good till they aren't. But when you come over to here, you can see that these were the levels that were given, right, to work off of, that we had to advance. So very, very nice. All the way down to here at 20,680 or 20,434, excuse me. Yeah, you've got some nice levels to work off of, but you are breaking this one, So if you didn't catch that initial bounce, I'd be patient, because I really want to see the recovery of the October high for me if we're going to get any kind of a push here. This was such good resistance and support for so long here on the low time frames. This is this is got to be a take profit one if you're taking this trade. If you get back up there, I still think it's a take profit, because you can potentially take this high up here into resistance and then come back down. So just make sure you pay yourself a little bit on the day trade. If you want to leave it to run because you think maybe it'll reclaim the range and rotate higher, that 21.8 area, I mean, that's not a bad idea. It's just, I wouldn't put all my eggs in that basket. Anything else to add, Max?
All good. All good.
All right. Well, guys, I'm going to hop off here. I'm actually tired. It's the last day of the fast. I'm cheating a little bit. I'm having a sparkling water. There's nothing in it but sparkling water. But yeah, tonight at 10 o'clock, I'm gonna veg out a little bit.
Is it the mid-morning though?
Yeah, it's 12 hours away. I got exactly 12 hours left. I'm 60 hours in. So.
Oh gosh, going to sleep already, mate.
I feel like I need to go to sleep. I don't know if the market's gonna let me.
No, it doesn't look like that.
No, but all right, guys, we're gonna hop off here. Appreciate you guys popping in and being in the chat as well. So if you guys are new, information's down below for the group, leadingcrypto.io. There is a half off your first month. Get you access to everything, group, academy, all that jazz. It's BTC 22. And otherwise, we will catch you guys tomorrow morning with Kenneth Suna to talk about diversification, retiring early through investing, and can we look at the balance sheets of crypto companies to evaluate them as a viable project or investment? So make sure you tune in for that as well. It'll be good information. We will see you guys tomorrow.